The next part of what we're going to do is we're going to now create the form and put the items together we did in the first part into this part, and then have a ultimate form with two tables. To create your form, I'm going to click on create, and I'd mentioned in the previous project of using the form wizard, but for this we're going to use form design. And you can look at it and think, boy, there's nothing there. And there's nothing there. We're going to actually, I'm going to increase the size of this a little bit because we have quite a few items we need to put in here. So I'm going to increase that. I need to have open my fields, so I'm going to have the add existing fields over here. And what I need to do, and this is actually a part I'm going to kind of go through it quickly, but you can spend some time and should spend some time getting this set up pretty well. What I'm going to do is drag the fields from my list of fields on the left and set it up like figure 5-30. Okay, and I'm going to show you some tricks here after I get these in here. I'll put them all in here first. If you double click, notice it'll just put them in there, and it puts them up in the corner. But if you drag them in yourself, you can kind of place them where you want. And I'm going to certainly clean this up, but I just want to show you this now. And don't forget the sales goal at the bottom. Now, you can see this is kind of a cluttered mess. The book rep number can be up here. We'll push this toward the top. And the thing I want you to notice is when you grab hold of these, they're connected. So when you move one, then move the other. They can be independently moved, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute by using these corner gray squares. But for now, what I want to do, I want to highlight these three, and I'm going to go under the Arrange tab, and I'm going to align them to the left, and that will line them up perfectly to the left. I'm going to do the same thing here. Now notice how I'm highlighting these. You can also highlight this using your Shift, hold down Shift and select them. I like to just drag my mouse over them. Okay. Now you can do the same thing on the left here. If you want to align these to the left, you can do it that way. I'm not going to be too terribly picky. I want to make sure it looks good, but if it's not exactly the way the book is, I'm not going to penalize you as long as the elements are there and they work functional. But I do want to show you some other tricks of how this can be done. So I'm going to pull these up. Something you can do, I'm going to highlight all of these. There's an area here called size and space. You can space these equally vertical, and it will do the items that way. Same thing, I'm going to equally space these vertically. Now, something they want you to do, and I suggest you do it, I'm going to actually pull this group over here closer, because we have some other items we're going to put in the open area. But I'm going to highlight the top two, the first name and the salary, and I'm going to align the tops. And that makes them line up to the top. Now again, you can and should spend some time really cleaning this up and making it look nice and neat. I'm just kind of going through this for time reasons because we're going to have other stuff added here shortly. But spend some time and get that lined up and looking as nice as you can. Again, if it functions, that's great. If you, as long as it's not a scattered mess, I'm not going to penalize you for anything along those lines. Next thing I need to do is I need to add some other items over here. I mentioned, so I'm going to add the comment section. Comment section will be over here, and the picture section will be below it. And I mentioned this a minute ago, but I'm actually put it into work right now, is I want to put the label comment that will be above the actual comment. And the way you do that is grab hold of the gray area and pull this up here. They're still connected, so if I move one, I move them both, unless I grab hold of the gray area. And I can do this for either side. So I'm going to do the same thing for picture. And I know for a fact that the picture is bigger than that, so I'm going to need to make it bigger. I don't want to make it too big, but I'll see in a minute if I need to adjust that or make any modifications. One other item I need is the customer notes. Put that here. Use the gray to bring us up here and put this below it. Okay, again, I'm doing this relatively quickly just to show you how it's done, but I encourage you to take some time and make it look nice and neat and organized. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Format tab, and when you, actually this doesn't matter if you're on the Format tab. I'm going to change the color of my form by right-clicking and go to Fill Back Color, and they say choose a darker gray. Again, pick one that you like. I think I actually want one shade too dark, but experiment with that. Idea again is to learn how to use those different aspects. So at this point we have our form laid out. Something I should do, I'm going to close my field for now because we don't need that. I'm actually going to come up here and double click, and I'm actually going to close my form, and I'm going to give it the correct name. The correct name of this form is Book Rep Master Form. Hit OK. Now it's down here, Book Rep Master Form. I can open up and look at it, and hey, look, there's the picture. I can scroll through and say, hey, look, the picture area is a little too big. But also notice I can see my comments. I can see everything. We'll talk a little bit about the customer notes, but I know now I need to shrink down that picture field just a little bit, So how can I do that? I'm going to go back under Design View. I'll make this a little bit smaller, and again, you can adjust that as needed. The next thing we're going to do, though, is under the Design tab, still in the purple area, I'm going to click on this little triangle, and I'm going to turn on the Use Control Wizard. That is a toggle on-off switch, so make sure that's selected. And then I'm going to, right here is the subform. So when you click on that, bring it down, and pick where you want your subform. And this will put in our subform. Now this will, in essence, bring in items from the other table. I'll go to Next. I don't want all of the fields from customer, but I want to change this to customer. And I only want customer number, customer name, amount paid, and current due. And those will show up in this area down here. So I'm going to go to Next, choose from a list, and the customer subform, they want us to name this Customers of Book Rep. And we'll finish that. Now, like the other items, we can and probably will need to move this around a little bit and widen it, and we'll tweak that a little bit later on. Again, you can spend some time and should spend some time getting that to work properly. Now, I'm going to save this, and this is the Book Rep Master Form. Let me open this back up and take a look at what it looks like. Now, this is the subform. We can click through here and go through the different fields. Now these fields relate to the specific record. So if I change this to the next person, it brings their corresponding items that are related to those. Okay, so again, play with that and try to see how that works. And we'll continue with the next part.